Hello, today we shall see some numericals on quality parameters like CV. So, coefficient of variation, which is nothing but CV percentage. So, we have a problem here. A draw frame is fed with 8 slivers. The slivers are coming from two different sources. Let us say they are coming from two different cards, and therefore they will have probably a CV of the slivers that are coming from two sources are 2.8 and 3.2 respectively. So the first part of the problem is if four slivers from each sources are fed and drafted together, what will be the CV percentage of the combined sliver at the feed end? So what we are being asked is what is the combined CV of the sliver that is being fed? So let us see how to solve this. Solution is that we should always remember that variance, that is CV square, has got an additive property. So therefore CV of the combined sliver at the feed level would be square root of square of the first sliver divided by number of the slivers that have been fed plus CV square of the second type of sliver divided by number of slivers that are being fed. So if you calculate this further, you get the answer of 2.12. It means that at the feed level, the CV, as soon as you combine 8 slivers of these two, you by bringing them together, what we find is that the combined CV of these two slivers at the feed would be 2.12. Let us come to the next part of the problem, where after drafting, the CV of the output sliver was found to be 4%. So after the drafting was done and the delivery output sliver was got and CV was calculated or rather measured on it, we found that there was 4% CV. So that it means that this CV is more than the input sliver CV. That means the process has added some amount of variation in the material. So how to calculate that? The combined CV of the feed sliver is 2.12 as per our calculation above. But the CV was found to be 4% in the output sliver, which means that the process has added some CV, as I just mentioned. It is required to find the value of variation added by this particular process. So the same formula applies, but here now we have got the output sliver as CV as 4. So 4 square is equal to the input sliver square plus the CV square, and here this CV would be the CV added by the process. So if you reshuffle it and bring CV square to one side, this is how you calculate, and CV percentage would be 3.39. So it is seen that 3.39% CV is added by the process itself. So coming to the next type of problem on quality parameters is the periodic variation. We have had a lecture on periodic variation earlier, and one of the reasons for periodic variation is roller eccentricity. So let us see whether we can measure the length of the periodic variation that is inserted because of any roller eccentricity. So the bottom middle roller of a draw frame or of a drafting unit was found to be eccentric. Now here it is the bottom middle roller which is found eccentric. Its diameter is 40 mm. The total draft and the brick draft was found to be 6 and 1.2 respectively. So the first part of the problem is calculate the wavelength of the periodic variation that is generated. So the solution would be if total draft is 6 and the break draft is 1.2, the draft in the front zone, that is main draft, would be 6 divided by 1.2, which is 5. Since the middle ruler is eccentric, the variation generated by the middle ruler is pi into d, that is equal to pi into 40. That is the diameter of the middle ruler, which is because the middle ruler is eccentric, this will produce a periodic variation of 125.66 mm. This 125.66 mm periodic variation moves in the front zone, and here it would get drafted, and therefore its length would increase to 125.66 into the draft in the front zone that we would apply. So when you multiply that by 5, you get 628.3 mm, that is equal to 63 centimeters of periodic variation in the output sliver. The length of the periodic variation generated by the middle bottom roller in the output sliver is 63 mm. So the second part of the problem we come to, if instead of the middle roller, the front bottom roller having the same diameter as that of the middle roller was eccentric, then what would be the wavelength of the periodic variation in the output sliver? So now instead of middle roller, we are talking about the front bottom roller. So the wavelength of the periodic variation generated by the front bottom roller is again pi into d, where d is the diameter of the front bottom roller, which is said that it is same. So pi d, that is equal to 125.66, just like before, mm. But after the front roller, since there is no draft applied further to this variation which is being delivered, therefore it will remain the same, and this variation will go into the final output sliver. Since there is no draft applied into this variation that is generated in the front zone, the wavelength of the periodic variation in the delivered sliver is 125.66 mm, or you can say it is 12.5 centimeters. So having seen these two type of problems, let us move on to something known as Reiter Quality Monitoring System, or RQM. So this is the drafting system that we have seen earlier, which is RSB D40 model, and we have seen earlier that we have used it for understanding the auto leveler, where we have seen this was the sensing device, and then it's a 4/3 drafting arrangement and how this works. But there was one more monitoring system over here, that was number 6, which is called as a Reiter Quality Monitoring, or RQM, which is there after the drafting system. And let us see how this works. The RQM continuously controls the sliver mass with the help of movable delivery calendar rulers. So these are calendar rulers which will be movable. This prevents the production of large length of faulty sliver, because before large length of faulty slivers are delivered, the machine will take action. The important quality parameters like CV, sliver count, spectrogram, etc. are shown on the monitor. So if a spectrogram shows an error at a certain length, the possible reason for the error in the gearing diagram is also shown in the display. The RQM can be connected to all Ritter machines and to the spider web, which is an overall monitoring system for further analysis. So this will help us in analyzing the fault and preventing it from happening again. So just by looking at the spectrogram and the other information that it gives, it will also show us where the error has occurred on the display, as we'll see just now. So once it shows that, it can be rectified. So this is the kind of panel that we see. You see the spectrogram, you can also see the peak, and you can identify where exactly this fault might have occurred. And it also shows that the delivery top roller is oval, so that means this top roller is eccentric over here, maybe because of this, or some kind of error might have happened in the front zone, and that is why this kind of a error is seen in the spectrogram. So now, what is a monitoring system? It is RQM. Let us see the features of it. Including a monitoring system in the process helps the overall analysis of the quality of the final product. The integrated monitoring system operates completely independent of the auto labeling system. As we saw that this particular monitoring system comes after the auto labeling system, and it acts independently of the auto labeler. The position of the sensor is in between the drafting system and the upper can plate. The faults generated at the can plate is not detected in this case. That means whatever fault is produced after this monitoring system, all that will be there, still there in the delivered sliver. So when we come to this Ritter has such a system in the delivery roller, while Trutzler has it at the trumpet. So the Ritter system we have just seen, and Trutzler will have a system, such a system, sensing system, in the trumpet. So this is the image of the RQM that is installed by Ritter's RQM. The consistent check of sliver count of the delivered sliver is being done here. The system automatically stops the machine if the pre-selected values are exceeded. It also reduces the tests needed in the laboratory, because it gives a spectrogram and other quality parameters on the panel itself. So it will save a lot of time of taking the material to the laboratory, checking it, and then coming back and correcting it on the machine. All the data that you need is provided on the panel itself. So there's one more logistic that is there, which is known as the can link. The first passage of draw frame, suppose there are two passages of draw frame. The first passage of draw frame is interlinked with the second passage by can changing, feeding the filled cans to second passage, and also providing the empty cans to the second passage to the first passage. So this entire system is called as a CAN link. The operative workload is therefore reduced with this kind of a system. So let us see how this works. So these are the three diagrams which show the three stages through which this CAN link works. So the first diagram shows the can from the first passage. Now this is the first passage where 6 livers are fed and one single delivery is shown over here. So cans from the first passage being placed on the feed table of the second passage. So as you can see, automatic can change in places the delivery can on the feed table of the second. This is the second passage now, which will have again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cans. So this is the first stage where it will, as soon as the can is delivered, it is being pushed onto the feed table. So slowly, as soon as 6 cans are delivered by the first passage, it will form a spare feed row at the second passage. So this is a spare feed row that is being formed. And when these existing cans are emptied, or when it's time to remove them, automatically these already spare row what has been formed over here, they get pushed um, over here in this manner, and they push out these empty cans outside on the feed table again. And from the feed table, this empty cans are being again picked up by the uh, passage, the first passage. So it helps to feed the first passage with an empty can, and takes the delivery and feeds it to the second passage. So it's an automatic continuous loop system that it works in, and therefore you don't require any intervention from the operative, and his workload is reduced. So as you can read from here, automatic pushing of the full spare cans on the feed table into the feed position of the second passage, and simultaneous pushing out of the empty cans to be given back to the first passage delivery area. So this is a continuous system that helps in reducing the workload. So at the second passage also, the cans from the can changer, and that is here also there are can changers that are there. The can changer can be automatically placed on a trolley, which can then be forwarded to the next machine in the process. The next machine could be your speed frame. It can go via this trolley, and you have a fully automated system for can feeding and delivery. So with this, we come to the end of the lecture today. Thank you.